Well, hello and welcome to this little tutorial where we're going to add long-term memory to an agent that I have built. Now you may remember I created this a little while ago. This is a tech agent that basically takes in a question and using a static data source, it's going to give me an answer. So this static data source is a list of text stuff. So if I go and start this process by clicking on here and saying, let's say, what phones do you have? And start that, we can then take a look in operate and find out here we go, that it's going to trigger this. It's then going to probably look for its list of text stuff, and then it's going to show me the answer to that, which is, yeah, there we go. And let's take a look at the answer. And the answer is here are the iPhones. Okay, super duper. But here's an interesting question. I want to know, do I get a discount? Do I get any kind of discount? I'm a student. So let's complete the task. So now we're going to give this a follow-up question. And interestingly, it actually doesn't know the answer to this because it has no tool or data to be able to provide this. So let's see what it says. Fantastic, we're a thing. Unfortunately, I don't have access to this system right now. Okay, so it understands that it does not have the ability to figure this out. So what we're going to do today is we are going to add to this process here the ability to read from external memory using a vector database in order to sort of help answer very specific questions the user might have related to, let's say, internal data. In this case, we're a phone shop. We have very specific things that we can sell, and we have a whole bunch of tech around it. So how do you add that? So let's get this started. Okay, so we're going to start by focusing on querying for this data. Now, it's important to know is we'll be using a vector database for this. This is an ideal scenario for an agent to use because the LLM that's in charge of this agent will be able to use natural language in order to basically ask a question to a data source that has a huge amount of data without keeping all that data in its context. It means that if you wanted the agent to be able to know an awful lot of policy data, a vector database is a great place to store that data to make it really easy to query in natural language and get back all related topics to the query parameters. And as I said, we're going to start by adding a new tool to this little toolbox, and it's going to be a vector database. So I'm going to drop that here, and this is going to be a vector database connector, and this is going to be a query for policy stuff. Okay, so that is our the name of our tool. That doesn't help the agent though. The agent needs more details. So for that, we're going to go into element documentation here, and here I'm going to basically type the reason why the agent would use this tool. Use this tool in order to get any information on policy or company specific questions you might have. Okay, so that's why it's going to use it. If we scroll further down, we're getting to the technical nitty-gritty now of this. And the two operations you have are one to retrieve a document, which is what we're going to do, but you also have to embed one. We'll talk more about that later. Retrieving a document means that we want the LLM to be able to search. And if you want it to be able to search, you need to tell the LLM exactly what to do. So in my case, if you need to tell the LLM to create any kind of data, you need to use the from AI function. So let's go with tool call dot query, and then this is the variable that we created, and then in here we need the actual name of the description of actually why they would do this. So this is the query you're making to the vector database. It's not a bad idea to tell it it's a vector database so it can like adapt its query knowing how vector databases work. So that means that this will then create an input for this. So As we go further down, we have max results. That's kind of important. So then that gets the 5 is the max by default, which means it'll return 5 things that are related to that. Now, don't worry with the limitation here, because the agent can trigger this more than once. And you'll see it often do that. If it gets some information, but not exactly the information it wants, it'll re-trigger with different parameters and try and get exactly what it needs. So 5 is a good one. And then going further down, we need a connection to where the actual vector database is. And you'll excuse me for a second while I slightly cheat, because what I'm going to do is I have pre-configured a vector database for storing data. And you can see here, I have query and store. This is just a nice feature of connectors where you can pre-configure them and then you can select the connectors. So if I say query, hey, look, it fills in all the stuff for me. And it keeps the stuff I already had. Super handy if you don't want to have to type in all your configuration stuff. So let's scroll further down and let's select this. And there we go. We have our Amazon Managed Open Search. And we also have the index name. This is quite important. So this is where this particular data is stored. So for instance, you could have an Elasticsearch or an OpenSearch database that has different indexes depending on the context. So this could technically even be dynamic, depending on if the LLM had to first choose the index name and then choose the query for that index. It allows it to have a huge variety of ways of searching. In the end, we have tool call result. And here's a nice little feature. Here we have this little thing. If we get nothing back, I want to tell the LLM that I didn't find anything. And one of the ways to do that is by using an error boundary event. So you see here that this thing basically says, if this error contains index not found, then throw a BPMN error called an index not found, right? So I'm just going to select here an error boundary event, cool. And then I'm going to have an output tool call result, and this is just going to be search result. I'm going to say nothing was found. So I'm just telling the agent that nothing was found. Okay, so let's run through this exactly what we did. So we said here, use this tool in order to get any information on policy or company specific questions you might have. Let's say company or product. To do product specific question I have. If we scroll further down, we're doing a retrieval, we're retrieving a document. This is the query that we're making. So whatever the LLM's context currently is, it can query whatever. We're using an embedding model that's specified here. It's not too important. It's this one here. And we're also using the vector store, which is the detail of where the actual data is. So that's the LLM that's doing the querying. That's the vector store where the actual data is. And finally, whatever the result is goes into a tool call result. If we don't get a result, then it goes into vector database. So I think we're basically ready to go. This should then be able to do stuff. Now, luckily, I've already pre-populated this with some specific data. And I'll talk more about that later on. Basically, be aware that right now, this is going to give us a certain result that based on what the data stored in the data is currently. And then we're going to talk about how to populate it. So let's do that next. Now I'm going to deploy and run this and see with the same query. So I'm going to click deploy and run. I'm going to add a new query, which is I would like an iPhone. Can I get a student discount? Okay, let's deploy and run. So now let's jump to the instance. So this is both deploy the process we just built, but also started a new instance of that deployment. And so this time we have, it's queried for the list of tech stuff. Last time it just populated the user at the end, but now it's doing a query for our policy stuff to see if it can find out anything. And it's gotten a response. If it didn't get a response, I would know because the error event would be triggered. So this means it found information. So it's actually a nice visual indicator that something was found. And it's found enough to be able to answer it. So let's go to task list and let's see. Answer to client. Okay, yes, we have a 20% student discount. That's right. I added that to the data source beforehand, so I was able to find that. But it has a bunch of other stuff that's relevant. The requirements to get an iPhone are to be a member of Niall Corp for the last 5 years. And there's a bunch of other things. So it's managed to combine in that answer to the user the iPhones we have, which is static information, along with some other like custom information from our data source, which is usually text-based. So that's pretty good, but now let's talk about actually changing this a little bit more to be able to actually populate this data source and basically kind of treat it a little bit like a living data source. Now, why is that important? It's because as you run your agents, they are going to be figuring stuff out. But the problem is every new instance by default is not going to understand how the last one solved a problem, right? So what we're going to try and do here is we're going to try and add the ability to populate our vector database with common questions that maybe get asked. Now, how do we do that? We're going to involve a human. Ideally, what we're going to see that the human gets asked initially for questions that aren't in the data source, but then that human can decide to store those questions. So let's build that little configuration right now. So what I need is a small flow within my agent, which is a handy little thing to have, because what I want to do is I want to gatekeep the ability to store data in long-term memory. It's usually a very, very bad idea to have an agent in charge of both populating a data source and querying from that data source without some oversight, because it'll end up dumping stuff in there that may not be relevant. So we want to make sure that we have a human involved. So this human is going to be ask clerk for information. And this is going to be a tool. Use this tool to answer any questions you have about the company or the product on offer. Okay, so, and this is going to be ask clerk. Okay, super duper. So that's done. This needs some data though. It needs a front end. So let's build all of that. Ask question to human. That makes sense. So let's link that form and let's take a look at that. So I'm going to open this in the editor and we can see that this has three things. It has question for clerk and it has human answer to question. So this is the output, and it also has a second output called store in memory, because each time it gets asked a question, the answer is either relevant for, let's say, the next agent that might run, or maybe not. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a simple flow to make sure that if the clerk decides the question's valuable enough, we're going to store it in long-term memory. So in the meantime, we've got that configured. Now we just need to make sure that we are creating the data needed, because the agent itself needs to formulate the question. So that means that once again, I need to go down to inputs. I need to have question for clerk. And again, this time I'm going to use the from AI function. Question for clerk, and this is the question for the human clerk to answer. Format in Markdown, because I like Markdown. Okay, so next up we are going to then have an output mapping, and this is going to be the variable that is output by the clerk, which is the answer to the question. So output mapping is tool call result. And here it's going to be answer to question, and then we're just going to populate that with whatever. We also need to add the store in memory output. So I'm going to type in there store in memory, and this is going to be the value of store in memory, which is the local variable that's output, and that can be used then in the gateways. So we just need to add a gateway here, store in memory, and if I do want to store it, yes, we go this way. If we don't, we go this way. So this is going to be a nice little no. And we had a little tick box, so we'll see if we remember what that was. If store memory is true, we go this way, and if store memory is false, we go this way. Okay, so now we need to actually create this bit, which is the important bit, which is actually storing it. As before, I do have a store and long-term memory pre-configured, so I'll just explain how this works. So if I scroll down here, you see it embeds the document, and it embeds a variable called detail to be stored. Okay, so what do we store? We need to store tool call results and dot answer to question, because that's what the person has given us the answer to, and that's what gets stored. And we don't need an output for this necessarily, and that should just store that document. The rest is pre-configured already by the connector. It's configured exactly the same way as this one, and in fact it should be, and that should store it, I would hope. So let's see if that runs and deploys. It looks good to me, so let's find out next. I'm going to click this button and we're going to deploy and start our new process. I have a specific question in mind. I would like a Samsung phone. I live in Berlin. Can I get it delivered today? So I'm going to copy that because I want to send it twice. So the first time, we don't know what the answer is. In fact, the agent has never been told what this is before. So the agent is going to be very, very new to all of this. So we see here that it's, first of all, as we suspect, it's going to trigger this. It's got a list of tools, and now it's going to start asking the long-term memory for some policy stuff about this. And that's important because we know we're not still going to find anything because there's nothing in there actually. And but it's queried it anyway. It's gotten some stuff back. It'll sometimes queries it again. Yep, it did indeed. And that's because it's trying to find out if there's any way it can phrase the input to get the answer. Now it can't. So it needs to do one very specific thing, which is ask the clerk, because it's been told, and I'll show that later on, that if it can't get stuff here, it needs to ask the clerk for that information. So if I go here and open this task, we can see that ask the clerk is here. Hi, I have a customer in Berlin. They want a phone. Do we deliver in Berlin, Germany? Is the same day. Okay, so for our customers in Berlin, they need to send a fax for their order, and we at Niall Corp will post the phone within 2 weeks. So great service there. I'm going to store this in long-term memory because that's relevant for the next time I ask a question similarly. So let's complete the process. And now what we should see is the process should spin over here to store in long-term memory. It does indeed. So that is now stored, and the agent then should be able to show the client the answer to that. It also means that not only this client, let's take a look. So great news, it's available. I checked the delivery team. Here's how it works. Same day isn't available. Our standard procedure is to fax the order. Okay, that's good. Now you can see how many tools this triggered, but if we send this request one more time, exactly the same request, deploy and run, let's head to the instance. Now I expect that it doesn't need to bother a human at all. Instead, what it should do is it should just query long-term memory and find it. So it's, as before, it's getting the list of text stuff, and now it'll probably query policy stuff. Great. Now, hopefully that query worked and it got the response it wanted, and then it's going to be able to talk to the client. It's querying a couple more times. And yes, there we go. It doesn't need to bother the clerk this time. This time we have a new one, and it basically says that here's your thing. Unfortunately, our company requires a fax, and it'll be 2 weeks. So you can see that it's a really, really nice pattern of being able to enrich the understanding of each request as it goes along. And the ideal scenario here is that as this tool gets used more and more frequently, the clerk is bothered less and less frequently with generic questions and is more likely focusing on really obscure questions, which is what you want. And this is really nice and measurable. So what you can do is you can set KPIs to see, does the agent contact the clerk less frequently over time? And if so, that means it's all working. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time. Cheerio, bye.